everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. Well, it's time for another story time episode. This one involves the Marriott Fairfield Inn in New York City. Last week, my husband and I were in New York helping my daughter move from one apartment to another, and we were there for 4 nights. We stayed at the Marriott, which was great. We've been there before. My husband travels for business often. He always stays at a Marriott, and we have stayed at this particular Fairfield Inn once before, and my husband has been there several times before. So we know what to expect and we like it. It's a great hotel. This trip was exhausting for us. If any of you have ever moved to someone, you know what I'm talking about. It's always a lot more physical than you think it's gonna be. This was no exception. Just a ton of things to do, a lot of things to think about, a ton of things to do and organize, and it's just a lot of work. So by the end of this trip, we were pretty exhausted. On the morning of our last day before we had to check out, we went to breakfast with my daughter, and we were just enjoying our final hours together when we went back to the hotel to get our luggage and bring it down before checkout and to catch our plane. While we were in the lobby on the first floor waiting for the elevator to go up to our room, which was on the 24th floor, it was taking forever. There was only 2 elevators, and one of them we could tell was out of service. The other elevator looked like it was stopping at every floor on its way down. We were just waiting and waiting. After waiting for about 15 minutes for this elevator to come down, my husband decided to walk up 1 flight to the 2nd floor and use the public restroom there, and then he was going to meet my daughter and I up in the room. By the time the elevator came and we got in, we were being stopped at almost every floor on the way up. A lot of times it would be guests who thought the elevator was going down, and they had all their luggage with them, and we had to say, no, it's going up, and they'd go, okay. Finally, one family with all their luggage said, I don't care that it's going up, we're getting on now. So they got on, we continued to go up, we got off at the 24th floor. My daughter and I got to the room, and we had thought we were going to spend maybe a half hour together before we had to go. So now we're waiting for my husband to come up, and it occurred to me that there's no way he's gonna make it up in time. We had to go, we knew when our flight was, we didn't have that much time. It quickly became apparent that we would have to start heading down a lot sooner than we thought if we wanted to catch our flight. In the meantime, my husband texted me and said he's in the lobby waiting for the elevator, and one of the Marriott staff said it's gonna be a while. So he decided to just stay down in the lobby and have my daughter and I bring down the luggage. I agreed that was going to be the best thing to do. So my daughter and I grabbed the luggage, made sure we had everything out of the room, closed the door behind us, came out into the hall, and saw about 4 or 5 people already standing waiting for the elevator on the 24th floor. And waiting, and waiting. And I'm starting to get a little panicky. My daughter suggests we walk down. Now, I did not think I could do this. I have a bad knee, and going downstairs is actually more difficult for me than going upstairs. So I was not looking forward to even attempting this. But I'm looking at the time and I'm realizing she's right. We've got to at least try. So she agrees to grab both suitcases. I had my tote bag filled with things and my purse, and we start heading down. Flight after flight after flight. I had to turn around and go down the stairs backwards because that was less pressure on my knee. Now I'm kind of getting dizzy making that same turn in the same direction at every half flight of stairs, going down, down, down. And at first I thought, okay, I can do this. And then I realized, okay, I was only at the 16th floor. So I poked my head out to see if anybody was waiting for an elevator, and yes, an entire group of people and their luggage. Every time I would poke my head out on whatever floor I was on, there were people waiting. And I knew we had to just keep going forward with the stairs. So we would rest every so often. My daughter was much faster than I, even though she had all the luggage. And so she went on ahead and I had her just, keep going. And then she would rest a little bit, waiting for me to like hobble down the rest of the way. Again, I checked about the 10th floor. Same situation, and we just had to keep going. She was exhausted and I was exhausted and worried, we're not going fast enough to make our flight. I knew we were faster than that elevator, so I had to just keep plugging along. We finally got to the bottom. My husband didn't even know we were doing that. He was in the lobby he just kept thinking we're coming down in the elevator. Every time he would look over at the elevator hoping that we were on that one. So when he saw my daughter come out of the stairwell, couldn't believe she had come down with all the luggage, and he said, "Oh my gosh, where's mom?" And she goes, "She's right behind me." And he was shocked because he knows I can't go downstairs. So, he was upset that I even attempted that, but we really had no choice. So, feeling pretty angry at that point, as I walked by the front desk, I said, "Listen, I just walked down 24 flights of stairs." And the front desk clerk said, "Well, we do have an elevator out of service. It'll be fixed in about a half hour." First of all, how was that supposed to help me? I was already down there. They didn't call up to the rooms and tell people the elevator is out of service. There was no other choice for us. Had they perhaps called up to the rooms to tell people one of our elevators is out of service, and we realize that checkout time is at noon, but if you are not in a hurry, please just remain in your rooms. There will be no charge for late checkout today. Something like that. Something to make it not such a traffic jam and make it so that people had to take the stairs if they had a flight to catch or someplace to be like we did. But that didn't happen, and my daughter and I really didn't appreciate the fact that this person didn't seem very apologetic. But there was no time and nothing for us to do. My husband and I, we said our goodbyes really quick. That was not even how we wanted to say goodbye to our daughter. We just quickly said our goodbyes, got in the Uber, and headed to the airport. My daughter went back in to talk to the manager. She was angry. She was angry for us. She explained that my husband is a Gold Star member. He travels often. He always stays in Marriott. And that the attitude was more the issue. We understand that these things happen. Something happened to the elevator. It needed to be repaired. It was a very inopportune time, checkout time on a Sunday. To us, it was more the attitude of the front desk clerk at the time. She was not accommodating. She definitely did not seem to be empathetic in any way. She got the name of a supervisor who was coming in at 3 o'clock, and they told my daughter that this supervisor would contact us. Well, my husband and I were then in the air and unreachable. When we got home later that night, my husband saw an email from this manager at the Fairfield Inn saying that we would be credited for half of that last night's stay and that they were giving him 5,000 reward points. We both felt very satisfied by that. I think it was the right thing to do. And also, of equal importance, she was very apologetic. Sometimes that's all people really need. And they did make it right. My husband and I really appreciated that. And even though my muscles on my good leg are still aching 2 days later, I made it through. We got through. We caught our plane, and Marriott made things right. And in the end, everything worked out great. I still recommend Marriott hotels. I love the free breakfast, and I love that anytime you come in, day or night, there's always coffee, hot water for tea. There's usually fruit-infused water, and they have great comfortable beds, and we will be staying again. So thank you, Marriott, for making it right, and thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.